Yo, what's good, y'all? We back with another video for you guys today. Today we're going to be going over some shooting tips. I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter talking about having trouble shooting in 2K23 right now. Meter, no meter, all different types of tips flowing around. So I'm going to be showing you guys what I've been doing, and I'm having a lot of success shooting about 60% or more on all of my games from three-point land, using anyone that I have on my team that's wide open to be able to shoot a shot. So this is my current team. I don't have anybody that crazy. So anybody can do this as long as you have good shot timing and understand what you should be looking for on your releases. So I'm going to be using BJ Armstrong, Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Joel Embiid. And I don't even have my Jimmy Butler fully evoed yet, but he does still hit some shots for me. I'm going to be going over some settings that I want you guys to be looking at. This is just what I do, by the way. Use what you think is going to be best for you, but this is what's working for me, so I wanted to put it out for you guys because I think it's going to work for a lot of people. So getting into the settings, like I showed you in the last video, you want to go to your controller settings. Your shot meter is going to be off, and you're going to be putting your release or your shot time and release on early. That is what I use, and this is what's going to correlate with what I'm looking for on the hands when I'm shooting the rock, right? So when you're in the game early stages, win and losses comes from three-point shots and three-point attempts. If you're playing against people that are going to be hitting more threes than you, you're going to lose the game. So people are getting frustrated and quitting because they cannot shoot so far this year, but the people that are making their shots are easily able to breeze through the mode. Whether you have Curry or BJ Armstrong, whoever it is at point guard, if you're wide open, you should be able to shoot. So the first tip I'm going to give you guys is figure out how to get wide open. Like, I use plays, I use pick and roll, but get wide open shots. Don't take too many contested shots early in the game right now, because these guys are not going to be able to hit those contested. So we're going to get ready to get into some footage to show you guys how I shoot and what I usually go to when I'm shooting. Then we're going to go into some freestyle to show you what I'm looking for when I'm shooting the ball. So we're getting ready to get into some clutch time footage and just show you guys some of the players that I be shooting with. And mostly I'm going to be greening a lot of these shots. So let's get into the footage and we're going to jump into freestyle to show you guys what I'm looking for in the game. Alright, so we're in freestyle right now. We're going to go ahead and switch the difficulty over to Hall of Fame. Make sure you guys are shooting on Hall of Fame, which is going to give you the best success shooting on any other mode. So we're going to be shooting on Hall of Fame, and I'm going to be showing you guys what I'm looking for when I'm shooting. So we'll start off. Alright, let's start off in freestyle. We got Devin Booker on the court, one of my favorite players to shoot with this year. Super easy release, buttery. If you have this Sapphire card, make sure you are using him to shoot a lot of your shots. But no matter who you're shooting with, you're going to be waiting for their wrist to get ready to release the ball, or you can even use the elbow cue. Once the elbow starts to push up forward, that's when you can go to release the shot, because players have different release animations. You're going to get tripped up if you think it's like last year. You can rely on the shot timing that was very similar throughout each player. It got to a point where all shot timings were similar, so you didn't even have to really look at anything. Unless you're using the meter, you really have to be watching that wrist to see when to release the ball. And it should be fairly easy to green with a lot of the players on the court, especially guys like Devin Booker. As soon as you see that elbow or that wrist start to go upwards, you should be able to release it. That one I knew was a little bit late. That one should be perfect. And now we're shooting 3 for 4 already, 75%, and there's our 4 for 5. So we're 80% from 3 with Devin Booker, although there's no defense, obviously. But you got to get in the mode of being able to green with each player on your team. So let's switch up and let's get somebody like PJ Tucker out here. PJ Tucker has a little bit of a tougher release. It looks different, but we're still going to be looking for the same thing. Looking for those cues when we should release the ball. Now, see, as soon as that elbow went upwards, that's when I'm going to start releasing the ball. And his shot is way different. It looks way different than Devin Booker's shot looks, but it's the same thing you're going to be looking for, that elbow or that wrist to start flicking upwards, and then you're going to release the ball. Now we're greening. All right, let's get my boy Joel Embiid out here. Now, Joel Embiid might have one of the tougher shots on my team. All right, we got our boy Joel Embiid on the court, and it's tough to green with him, especially if you don't time his shot properly. One thing I will recommend, make sure you're using your hot zones. You got to use the hot zones that your player has available to them, especially if it's a tougher shot release. And again, just waiting for that release time. Once you get used to it, it's going to start getting easier for you. Once that elbow starts going up, that wrist starts to move forward, you have to be able to release the ball. So let's see if we can get a good percentage. 40% will be good for me for Joel, but 50% is even better. So let's see if we can hit some threes with him. 0 for 1. 1 for 2. 1 for 3. 1 for 4. 1 for 5. Come on, Joe. We got to go 4 for 10. One more. 2 more for good luck. That's too early. All right, last one. Y'all get the idea. You got a green, Joel. You got a green, Joel. There it is. Bang. All right. So what are we looking for? Let me green another one. Let's see what we're looking for with each player. So Joel, there's the green. So what are we looking for? When he shoots the ball, when the ball is being released, I am releasing the ball right here. Once his wrist is getting ready to go forward, I have to release the ball. It has to be right at that point. You see where his elbow's like right at 90 degrees? I'm getting ready to start releasing the ball. And that is where the green window is for, at least for Joel Embiid. Now, PJ Tucker is going to be different than Joel Embiid, and BJ Armstrong is going to be different than that. It's going to be different for each player. So you have to know their release timing. PJ Tucker, when he just shot the ball, I released it once it got to right here. And he's getting ready to go right into his shot. That's when I release the ball. If I go to Devin Booker, it's going to be different for Devin Booker. And like I said, you guys get the idea, but it's different for every single player that you're going to have on the court. Bang. So Devin Booker, once he goes to release the ball, right there, you see how his shot's quicker? Right here is where I released it. Boom. As soon as it's ready to go up, his elbow is right at that 90. Bang. That's when I'm releasing the ball for him to be able to shoot. And again, you have to practice this. You got to go to practice with your players, or else you're not going to be able to do it, man. So let's get into some clutch time footage, and I'll just show you guys how beneficial it is to just be able to green. You can just shoot shots when you're open because you're not worried about missing the shot, and that's where you want to get your game to, especially if you're somebody that likes to shoot threes consistently. All right, so we got some clutch time footage here, and this is what's been happening to a lot of people I'm seeing. You're shooting with cards like Chris Mullin, Stephen Curry, and you should be making these shots, but you guys are just not able to green. And then I'm coming down the court, I'm finding my shooters, and no matter who I get the ball to, we're able to green these shots with closeouts, without closeouts. And I'm confident enough to shoot that I'm literally just sprinting to the three-point line. And if I get an opening, even with a hand in my face, I'm greening shots. And that's because I'm getting used to how my players shoot and what their release timing is. And it's so important to do that this year early on in the game, because if you can't shoot, your opponent's not going to respect you at all. So it doesn't matter who's on the court, you got to be able to green with them in their respective hot zones, or even if it's a midi, being able to hit those shots is extremely important. So once again, just waiting for that elbow to start pushing up. You got to time it sweet to each person. Every player on the court is going to have a different release, obviously, and it's going to be tougher with the players that aren't like dead-eye shooters. So Devin Booker is obviously going to have an earlier or a better release time and easier green window than somebody like Embiid. So you really just got to get used to the players and all personnel on the court and being able to time their shots so that when you're open, you're making the defense pay for sagging. No matter who touches the ball on my clutch time squad, I'm going to be able to let it fly and have a good chance of hitting it. Now again, Joel Embiid's my toughest person to shoot with, but he's my center, so I don't mind it that much. But when he does get open, I do spray with him as well, mostly from the mid-range. Sometimes I do take some threes with him, but right here, like we pop a little mid-range, he greens it. And then I also hit him right here on the fast break for an easy three that he greens. And your opponent's just going to start leaving the game when you're a good shooter early on. Now, as cards start getting better, you guys are obviously going to get better at shooting. But as of now, when there's low badges and it's more about that skill gap of timing the shot, and you have to practice with your team, utilize that early shot time and release and know when the release window is. That's the biggest tip I can give you guys so far. If you have another tip that works that you want to put down in the comment, definitely leave it down there. But this is what's been working for me. I'm shooting about 60% or more from three with, between every player on my team. Joel Embiid misses the most of them. PJ Tucker, Devin Booker, and BJ Armstrong are my best shooters. If they're open, I'm more than likely going to make the shot. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful. If I can help you in any other way with your shooting, let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.